Today we're going to be looking at parallel lines. So we say lines are parallel if they're always the same distance apart. So all the way along the lines, between the two lines, there's the same distance. So they're always the same distance apart, and that means they'll never be touching. Even if they went on forever and ever, if they went all the way around the world, if you could draw these lines, get your ruler, and keep going all the way around the world, all the way around the universe, they'd never touch. That means they're parallel. Okay, so let's look at these two lines we have here. We have a red line and a blue line. And the red line is parallel to the blue line here in both of them. So this red line is parallel to this blue line, and this red line is parallel to this blue line. So that means that they will never ever touch, and they're the same distance apart always. So if we measured it here, the distance between them here, and we measured the distance again here and here, it would be the very same. Now if we continued these lines on for a mile, it would be the same distance between the red and the blue. So they are parallel. So it means they're always the same distance apart, and they'll never meet. So they also point in the same direction. They're going in the same direction. And do you know, parallel lines have so much in common. It's an awful pity that they never meet, isn't it? So again, just to say it again, parallel lines, they're straight lines, they're going in the same direction, and they're always the same distance apart, which means they will never ever meet. So if Mr. Potato was walking along one line, and we'll say Andy from Toy Story was walking along the bottom line here. These two lines are parallel. So would the two meet? They would not meet. They would never meet, and they would never get any closer together, because that's our two things about parallel lines. They're always the same distance apart, and they will never meet. So today I want you to go around the house, or if the weather is good, go outside in the garden and have a look to see if you can find some pairs of parallel lines. Now you'll find them in door panels, you'll find them in the sides of windows, you might find them on the radiator, on the floor, in your bed, the television, computer screen walls of your garden, etc. So you'll find loads of examples of them. So see if you can find some parallel lines around your house or in your garden. So here's page 129 from your Busy at Maths book. Now again, it just reminds you that parallel lines are straight lines going in the same direction. They are always the same distance apart, so they will never meet. And again, two examples of parallel lines. So we have two vertical lines here that are parallel, and here we have two horizontal lines that are parallel. Remember, when we talk about vertical, we're talking about things that are in a position of going up and down, and horizontal, they're in a position of going left to right or side to side. Now in number one here, you're talking or discussing. So have a look at these pictures with someone and see, can ye identify the sets or pairs of parallel lines in these different pictures? Now down here, it's asking you to tick the pairs of lines that are parallel here. If they're not parallel, you put the X in the box. Okay? Now, Number 3 is a very, very important one. It's asking you to draw another line to make a parallel pair. Now, if we're going to draw another line that's parallel, we must remember that at each point along the line, they'll be the same distance apart. So it's very important when you're drawing lines that are parallel, don't just take your ruler and line it up alongside it, measuring with your eye. What you do is you use your centimeters along the side of your ruler and measure a distance, a fixed distance. It might be 2 centimeters, it might be 1 centimeter, could be a half a centimeter, but measure a distance from here and put a dot out here. We'll say 1 centimeter, and then go down here to this end of the line and measure 1 centimeter and put a dot here, and then use your ruler to join these 2 dots. And that's how you make a line parallel, because now it's the same distance at this point and it's the same distance at this point, and that means that it's going to be the same distance. If you continue those 2 lines on forevermore, they'd be the same distance apart and they would never meet, meaning they would be parallel. If you just use your eye, the lines may very well look almost parallel, but there's no such thing really as being almost parallel. So lines are either parallel or they're not. So if it's a teeny tiny bit closer at this end than it is here, they're not parallel. So don't measure it using your eye, make sure of it, and measure each one with your ruler. Even this one here, we've only a short piece of the line visible, so just once again measure at this point, whatever distance from it, and measure from this point, the same distance. So it's very important that parallel lines are the same distance apart always. Okay, so you measure a fixed distance here, maybe 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, and the same down here. Okay, our final puzzle here asks us to compare some of the lines. Okay, so we're identifying whether which line is diagonal. Okay, so have a look at these lines. We have vertical, horizontal and diagonal lines here. Your job is to identify which one is diagonal. Now it's asking us to identify which line is parallel to the blue one. Remember, parallel lines, they're the same distance apart at each point in the line and they will never meet. So if you want to find out if 2 lines are parallel, you need to measure them at different points. So you're trying to find out which line may be parallel to the blue line. So you have to pick 2 lines, pick another line to go with the blue line, and measure the distance between them. And if it's the same at the 2 points, 2 different points, then you know they're parallel. So the third one, something line, is parallel to the something line. So choose 2 other lines, not the blue line now. Choose, not including the blue line. Choose 2 other lines and that are parallel. So you need to measure between the 2 lines at 2 different points and make sure that they are parallel. Okay, so enjoy investigating some parallel lines and see if you can find some examples of parallel lines around your house today.